Kind of missed out on that when he went for the whole thing, the whole cookie, instead of just taking that piece, man. But at the end of the day, hey, still won a little bit of money, still won more than what we put in. So we're doing pretty good, man. I'll take that. What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bane, coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Man, we're going to waste no time. We're going to get into it. Had a busy week in NASCAR. A lot of new breaking news coming out today and yesterday, on top of recapping that great race we saw there at Michigan. Man, it's going to be an awesome show. So if it's your first time tuning in, the way we like to start out the show is with the word of the day. So the way we play this game is basically every time I say this word, Lawrence is going to put up here somewhere, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage, man. So I like to say it's age appropriate, but school's back in. I know you don't want your kids getting all live action on Wednesday. So at the end of the day, it's going to be adults only until they get a break, man. But basically, last week's word of the day was road course. I have no idea how many times I said that coming off that Indy road course race, probably a few. But make sure you guys play along. So tonight's word of the day is going to be, I have no idea, but Lawrence is going to throw it up there on the screen. Every time I say that word, make sure you take a sip of that favorite adult beverage, y'all. Man, we're going to get right into that NASCAR news, right back at it like a bad habit. Hey, man, Kevin Harvick comes home victorious of the Irish Hills in Michigan, man. Breaks a long 65, 68 race winless streak there. Hey, man, look, I didn't take Harvick. I told you if you were going to bet on him, make some money, this would be the time to do it. Hopefully you did. My heart was set on Blaney.
Come on, man.
Cost us a little bit here and there, but at the end of the day, Harvick comes home with that trophy and the checkered flag, man. So Marco Andretti getting ready to make his NASCAR debut there in Xfinity Series. Going to be driving, let's see, the 48 Big Machine Racing, own Racing Motorsports. Going to be an awesome ride there for him. SRX, man, hey, Season 2 champion, man. So going to be nice to see what he can do in an Xfinity Series car. Different beast over here, man. Different than anything he's ever driven. So I love it. The more the merrier. Hopefully, the goal is just to complete every lap. I hope he doesn't plan on running up top. Who knows? Maybe he can, but we're going to have to wait to see, man. Won't be long. It's going to be an awesome, awesome thing there at the Charlotte Roval, man. So to be during the playoffs, got a little while to wait in October there sometime, but going to be an awesome race, man. So Kyle Busch, man. Still on shaky ground for the future over there at Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, I think that's some of the biggest news everybody's kind of waiting on. It's definitely going to bust some things loose, inside the sport as far as who gets re-signed, what happens, who goes where. I think Kyle's doing everything he can on his end, taking the pay cuts, kind of giving some, things like, hey, I want to stay here. We got to make this happen. We're going to see if he can get some sponsorship and stay in the 18. But I think you won't hear anything about the 10, the 41, a couple other cars that are out there until an announcement is made with Kyle Busch. I mean, I definitely think that team owner, like Tony Stewart, is a great fit for him. Moving over manufacturers to Ford, teammates with Kevin Harvick for however many years he has. I think he's got to find another guy to carry the torch after Harvick retires. Busch could be a good fit. I still don't think. I think he's going to leave JGR. I still think there's a lot of opportunity and potential there to stay. We just got to see how that cookie crumbles. But right now, still on shaky ground with that contract, man. So do want to give a big shout out there, man. If you haven't yet, please go out, like, share, follow, all that social media, man. You can find us out there on Instagram, find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Definitely make sure you go check out that YouTube channel. That's our bread and butter, man, Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Make sure you like, subscribe, share all that. That's kind of like I say, the more eyes we get on it, hopefully the more money we get coming in for these charitable events we do here at Coaches. But definitely make sure you guys go check that out. If you haven't yet, please like, share, follow, all that social media. Y'all greatly appreciate it, man. So more big news breaking today. Hey, man, didn't take long for the problem child, as I like to call him, Noah the problem child Gragson, moving on to the Cup Series, man. Going to fill in that 42 ride for GMS Petty Motorsports. We learned a few weeks ago Ty Dillon isn't going to have that contract renewed. We were wondering who was going to fill in. Now we know, man, the problem child himself, man, Noah Gragson. I think he's an awesome talent. I definitely think that what we've seen out of that stable with Eric Jones this year, that company is on the up and up, man. I mean, we are building off that equipment. We are having better runs and good runs, I think, there for that level of equipment that they have. I think the better and younger talent you get in now, the better you're able to build it. And we did hear it is a multi-year deal, so it's not just like a 1 year and we'll go from there. So we did sign probably a couple years, 2 years, I would say 3 max. But at the end of the day, we're going to see what Noah can do, man, in the Cup Series week in and week out. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got the personality. And I definitely think the driving style is going to be good for the Cup Series and good for the sport, man. So we'll see where he goes. But big shout out there to the problem child, Noah Gragson. Awesome move, man, and best of luck to you, brother. So more in NASCAR, man. NASCAR charter costs continue to rise, man. And we're going to talk about a little bit more in this in depth in a couple different segments of the show I have tonight. But, you know, we're hearing around the $20 million mark to buy into the sport, which I'm not a fan of. I think there's better ways we can go about this and get some things figured out to get new competitive teams in. When we started this, it's kind of gotten outdated. We're going to touch base more on this a little bit later on the show, but like I said, upwards towards $20 million for a single car team to come in and be guaranteed to start at all 36 races, point paying races, man. So that's a big chunk of change, man. We'll see who's in and who's out, but we'll see my feels on it here later on in the show, man. So, hey, Jordan Brand to sponsor yet again only the second race this year, and I tell you what, the Jordan Brand paint schemes are undefeated so far. We saw Kurt Busch in that 45 win at Kansas earlier in that old school Jumpman paint scheme. We got another one coming out this week at Richmond. Unfortunately, you know, more news. I'll kind of go into it. Kurt Busch isn't going to be racing again this week. He released a statement, said he put himself in some simulation as far as the noise and pressures, what it is to drive. And he admitted himself he's just not quite ready, doesn't feel physically able, quite ready to get back into the car. Feels fine. But there again, we all know brain injuries are something different. There's no linear line to recovery. We saw it with Dale Jr. You know, you have good weeks, you have bad weeks, you have good times and bad times. So the main important thing is for Kurt to get healthy, to come back. Now, with that being said, I really would hate to see a 2311 car miss the playoffs due to that driver not being in that car. So I think here, if we don't see him back in for a full race, I think you'll start seeing Kurt Busch at least start those races. To see what kind of stuff they can do with that. I'm not sure how the points work, but I think you might see him at least start until that first stage caution or a competition caution or something along those lines to start to at least get some driver points. But we're going to see how the cookie crumbles. But at the end of the day, I know one more first-time winner, we see Ryan Blaney or Martin Truex Jr. win, Kurt Busch is going to find himself outside that playoff bubble looking in, and I'd hate to see that for, you know, operation team like 2311. That playoff, man, that's big money right there. Whether you finish 16th or you finish first, that's real big money. So I definitely know they need it. We'll see if they can maintain it. Maybe Kurt will be bashed back there at Watkins Glen. We're just going to have to see how it goes, man. But right now, we got Ty Gibbs filling in again. Top 10 run last week at Michigan. Hey, man, like I said, jump man, that Jordan Brand schemes are undefeated. You might see Ty Gibbs go out and win a race this weekend, man. If it happens, you heard it here first. I wouldn't bet the house and the boat and everything else on it. But hey, it could happen, man. It's been a crazy year, so we'll have to keep in touch and keep watching, man. So moving right into that Bubba Watch, y'all. I tell you what, we finally got the shakeup we've been waiting on in the last few weeks. It is going to come down to the wire from the looks of it. You know, with Kevin Harvick winning there at Michigan, that pushes Ryan Blaney to the bubble, and it takes Martin Truex and put him 19 points outside and making 16 on Ryan Blaney. So there again, I think we're coming into a track that pays dividends for that 19 team. We've seen Martin Truex run great at Richmond before. We've seen Ryan Blaney have a few good runs, but head-to-head throughout the career, throughout the last 5 to 7 races, Martin Truex definitely has the better damn racing record there, man. That's for sure. So we'll throw $1 into that swear bucket. But I tell you what, I think that if Truex is going to get it done, it's very similar to what Harvick had to do. I think Harvick's got a little bit more leeway when you look at Michigan and Richmond. Both very good racetracks for Harvick. But at the end of the day, this is the best out of the last 3 for Martin Truex to come and get that win. I would say, you know, the road course racer he is, but Toyota's been horrible all year long on those road courses. And Daytona, you guys know Daytona, anybody can go out and win it. So I think if the 19 team has one circled, this is the one they've had circled for a while. They got to go out and contend. They got to go out and have good runs. They got to go out and win the race. Doesn't matter about stage points. Doesn't matter about where you're finishing. All it matters about is that win. So you heard it here first. Look out for Martin Truex Jr. this weekend at Richmond, y'all. So going to get right into my favorite part of the show, the checkered flag for charity. Man, I tell you what, you guys know what it's all about. We're raising money for good local causes here at Coaches, man. John and Adele Henderson have blessed me with the opportunity to be able to do it to somebody that's close to my family. So at the end of the day, we're raising money for a friend of ours, little girl. She passed away unexpectedly. She survived. She's with her grandma and grandpa. So we're raising an educational fund for Payson Thompson. We're doing great so far, man. We're got a great amount of money rolling. And you know how we do here at Rubbin' and Grubbin' every week, the Checkered Flag for charity. Whatever car number wins that race is what we throw in. Man, I tell you what, with the 4 of Harvick winning, nothing below Christopher Bell in that 20 car. It's always a 20, so we throw another 20 back in there, man. I'm not going to give the total out yet because we do have another Cooler Full of Joy coming up this weekend for another big show. So there again, if you guys are watching, you staying in tune with what's going on at Coaches. Got a Night Train, Guns N' Roses National Tribute Band, and a local band opening for them. Make sure you bring some extra money, man. Get you a raffle ticket. Go home with a cooler full of alcohol. And if you don't like alcohol, man, just bring some extra money to donate for the cause. That's what it's all about. But like I said, anything we always do here at Coaches, 9 times out of 10, stays local in the community, man. So next time you come up here to Coaches, having beers with the buds, you got the family out to eat dinner, hey, man, if you're just up here and passing by real quick to say what's up to an old buddy, make sure you bring some cash, round it up, throw a 5 in. As you hear me say all the time, doesn't matter if it's pennies, nickels, dimes, 10, 20s, 150s, whatever you got to donate to the cause, make sure you throw it in, man. You get to feel good, and it stays all local right here in the community for a great cause as well, man. So I do want to give a big shout out to all Coaches Corner patrons that have continued to show their support throughout the year. Continue to do that, man. Let's raise this money. So getting right into the second favorite part, the Who's Hot and Who's Not, sponsored by Arbor Man Tree Service. Do got to give a big shout out there to my buddy Parker Eccles over there at Arbor Man. Hey, thanks for everything you do for the show, brother, here on Rubbin' and Grubbin', and everything you do for Checkered Flag for charity throughout the year, man. Like I say all the time, if you guys are looking for a tree service, Parker's the man to call. You'll see that number scrolling. Locally owned, locally operated, insured. Does a great job, man. If you're not sure of what you need, you know, hey, man, give Parker. He'd be He'd be more than glad to come out and give you an estimate on that. Very fair as well, man. So doesn't matter if it's tree trimming, cutting them limbs back, full tree removal, stump grinding. Like I said, if you just need an estimate for an insurance company or a quote or anything bad happens, give Parker a call, man. I know we're still in hurricane season. Tropic's been quiet, man, but like I say, I got a feeling here come into September, October, November, I think things are going to heat up a little bit in those tropics for us, man. So keep an eye on it. But like I said, you'll see that number scrolling up there, Arbor Man Tree Service, Parker Eccles. Give him a call, man. Love you, brother. So getting right into the Who's Hot and Who's Not, we'll start it out with the Who's Hot. I mean, it's hard not to take this guy number one. I mean, Chase Elliott again, y'all. I mean, the dude's magic. He didn't get that top 10 finish at Michigan. I think he came back to finish 11th there. But at the end of the day, man, hey, he's shown week in and week out why he is going to be number one on that hot list. Got the most win in the series right now. Got the most consistency. And that 9 team is absolutely crazy good, man. So at the end of the day, I think they're tested. They're battle tested. They're ready for the playoffs. And again, I still expect the man to get one more win. Could happen this week at Richmond. More than likely, I think it'll happen at Watkins Glen coming up next week. He's good there. Doesn't have, too many road course wins this year. Does have that one. Look out for it now, brother. I'm going to tell you right now. Watkins Glen, Chase Elliott, man. 2 for me on the hot list. I think it's got to be spoken about, and I think a lot of people don't give the man the credit that he's been building on, and that's Bubba Wallace over there in that 2311, number 23 car. Dude, 4 straight top 10s. I think I know there's 3 inside the top 5. Just been on fire. They found some speed over there. Fast cars equal good finishes. I know Bubba was a little disheartened after that race there at Michigan. He probably had one of the best race cars out there, starting from the pole. Comes home and brings it home second. But at the end of the day, man, don't be hard. Don't beat yourself up, brother. Got to take those really good finishes and roll and build that momentum, man. That team's got to see you in good spirits and go, hey, man, we're doing great. Do want to give a big shout out to Booty Barker as well. You saw him. If you heard any of the radio communication there after the race, you heard him go, man, stop all that, build yourself up. Great finish, great job. Comes out, gives him a pat on the back, man. Love Booty. He's been around the sport a long time, knows what he's doing, and I love to see Bubba do good, building that repertoire and that resume, man. He put in his time. He had some decent equipment. I'm not going to say good. I think this is the best equipment he's ever been in, and now he's finally hitting a stride to where you can see what he does, man. So at the end of the day, fast race cars equal fast wins. Keep your head up, brother. Keep chugging. Might end up in victory lane, man. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets one before the season's over. Hey, you still got Daytona in that cutoff race, man. It could happen, y'all. So another thing on the hot list, man, the race for 16th, man, that bubble position in the playoffs. I think it goes undoubtedly to be spoken about when you got two of the best in the sport right now battling for 16 between Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr., past champion and one of the best up-and-coming drivers in the sport. I tell you what, man, it's going to be a hell of a battle all the way down these next 3 weeks. And I tell you, man, if you see one of those guys win, depending on who gets pushed out, still going to be a battle. So I think this will be one of the best battles for 16 we've seen in a while. We still had that possibility of having 17 winners in the sport this year. We got to have 2 first-time winners in the next 3, which Ryan Blaney does really good at restrictor plates. He could win Daytona and get in. And there again, Martin Truex, we know what he does at Richmond, and if he brings a good car, Toyota brings him good stuff at Watkins Glen. I mean, so something to keep an eye on, but I think it's got to be put on that hot list, man. I think you've got to keep an eye on that. And I tell you what, I'm excited to see where it goes in the next 3 weeks. I'm really excited to see what happens after Richmond, to be honest. Every week that we click off, it's only going to get tougher and tougher and closer, I feel like. So keep an eye on that bubble, man, but right now it's definitely hot. So another one that's in the hot list, man, it's got to be JR Motorsports, man. Again, I said it earlier in the news, one of JRM's drivers, Noah Gragson, driver of the 9 and Xfinity Series, in the hunt for that championship this year in Xfinity, moves on to drive 42 next year for GMS Richard Petty, moving up to the Cup. So I got to give a big pat on the back to Junior and Kelly Earnhardt for the program they put together in the Xfinity Series when they got in and started giving it their all. I mean, honestly, just a few names that's come up through that. And we know they're affiliated with Hendrick, but the likes of, Chase Elliott, the likes of Brad Keselowski, the likes of William Byron, all these guys are winning. 2 of them are Cup champions. All of them are winning Cup Series drivers. All got their start and did their run through JRM. So I think it's not spoken highly enough about what they do for Hendrick compared to a Penske-owned Xfinity Series that we know breeds up and a JGR-owned that we know breeds up. JR does it for Hendrick, and I don't think it's spoken enough, not only what he does for Hendrick, but as you see other teams as well, and opportunities for good drivers in the Xfinity Series to go up and get their feet wet in the Cup. So big shout out to Dale Jr. and his sister Kelly out there for what they do, man, and everybody involved at JR Motorsports. I don't think they get the recognition enough of how good they are in Xfinity Series for sure. So moving into the Who's Not. Come on, y'all. Y'all know this man right here. Got to be number 1 on the Who's Not. This has been happening a lot lately. I don't think he's had a really good run in the last 8 races, 7 races. He's just cold right now. And if you go back and watch a few shows, I've said on some years, this is kind of the tendency of Kyle Busch, right? Like we hit the summertime months, and later on in his career, and maybe every 3 out of 4 years, Kyle Busch has a horrible summer. I don't know what it is. They just can't seem to hit. I don't know if it's the feel for the race car. I don't know if it's the hot temperatures. I don't know if this year it's the negotiations and the contract talk that's got them shaking. I know a lot of it's bad luck. I know a lot of it's bad calls through the strategy on the race. Last week at Michigan definitely was. When you see him come out and he restarts that far back in the field, bad stuff happens 28 through 20th. It really does. They race hard. He got caught up in somebody else's mess. Finished the day early. I mean, that's stuff that can't happen, especially when we get in the playoffs, man. I mean, one bad run, one bad race can cost you missing that next round. So we'll see if Kyle can get it back together, can go out and, if not win races, I think they just need consistent top 10s, top 5s, real good runs. Go get some stage points, man. Set yourself up a little bit better for the playoffs. Another win, if possible, but they got to get the momentum headed in the right direction because now they are not trending good. They got to get it figured out. Ben Bashor's got to get some stuff figured out, and Kyle Busch definitely has to do his part to make this team better. So at the end of the day, we'll see what the driver of the 18 can do. But this week, going to be on the lid, man. So something else I, there again, told you guys I was going to mention later on in the show a little bit, and I'm not going to go too much more in depth because I have it in another segment as well, but the charter system in NASCAR. And what I'm looking at in my eyes is like when we formed this 36-team charter, it was for a good reason, right? And I'll get into that in a little bit. But now we've kind of outgrown that reason. We're kind of building back a sport. So I think NASCAR really needs to take a look, maybe not 2023 season, but 2024, they need to look into doing 38 chartered teams. That still leaves 2 teams open to be able to qualify for that 40-car field. We haven't seen 40 cars outside of Daytona and maybe Talladega that I can recall all season long. So I think NASCAR needs to look into it. I think that $20 million is a little bit much, especially asking for a single car team. But NASCAR could also do some things with that money. So right now, the charter system is going to be on the cold list. Thank you, brother. And what the hell, I'm going to throw $1 in it just because I think charter system is a cuss word. I think it's something we got to look at, if not working our way out of, definitely reconfiguring and redoing. So there again, right now on the cold list, man. So that'll wrap it up for who's hot and who's not. Please pause for station identification, y'all, right here at Coach's Corner Sports Network. I got to take a sip of water, man. All right, man. So as you guys know, I talked about it earlier, Happy Harvick comes home with that win there at Michigan, breaks that long winless race streak. Another Ford win, that makes, I think, 43 total that Ford has won at Michigan. So, definitely adds onto the blue oval the way they look. Finally found some horsepower, which I don't know where they found that from. But anyways, found some horsepower and everything came back good. Harvick does, ends it, puts himself in the playoffs, man. So it's going to be interesting to see if they back that up again this week at Richmond, and another really good racetrack for Kevin Harvick. It's going to be really interesting to see if they can carry that momentum into the playoffs and continue to build on the speed they found. I still have them going out pretty early, maybe the round of 16, possibly the highest. I think Harvick goes around to 12. I mean, he could prove me wrong. I think that this is a guy, once you wake him up, it's like waking up a sleeping giant. Him and Rodney Childers have been here so many years and been doubted so many years. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did get hot and make it further into the playoffs. But right now, my outlook, 16, round of 16, round of 12 at the highest, man. So there again, got to give another big shout out to Bubba Wallace, another top 10 finish. I mean, found the speed as of late, got good sponsorship, got really good equipment. I'm really excited to see where this is going to go next year for him in the remainder of this season. There again, I think that he's got to keep his head straight. Coming into Richmond, not one of his best racetracks by no means, with past finishes there, but I think that he can really build on the momentum that they've had over the last few weeks and at least get a top 15, top 12. Like I said, man, maybe even a top 10, top 5. I mean, they got it. They've got the speed. They've been showing everybody that they're there. They're serious about what they do over at 2311. Got to see if they can get him into the playoffs as well. There again, I think Daytona is a better option. We've seen the success that he's had there and being able to do that style of racing, that speedway racing, put himself in those positions. So going to be interesting to watch, but got to give another big shout out to Bubba, man. So Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez looked like they had the cat in the bag there, man. They played some fuel strategy out that looked like it was going to really pay off there towards the end of that race. They come in, they get their fuel, they do their pit stop. Not even a half a lap later, caution comes out, pinning Chastain a lap down. And I think Daniel Suarez was the first guy on the lucky dog to get their lap back. So he restarted at the tail end of the longest line, the lead lap cars there. And they never rebounded from it. It was a very short shot, finish to the end of that race there from when that happened. They never really rebounded that track position back. So funny, in NASCAR, man, it works like that sometimes. You think you got everything figured out, and had that caution not fallen, they probably would have been running up towards the front 1 and 2 the whole time there towards the end of the race. Didn't work out that way, man. So just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. But the track itself, man, one of the biggest races that they've had over the last 5, 6, 7 years there at Michigan. The attendance was amazing. The viewership on TV went up as well. So at the end of the day, this next-gen car seems to be turning a lot of these racetracks that folks go, it's kind of a boring race. It's not all this, it's not all that. I think this next-gen car is really helping turn some of those racetracks around, and I love to hear it from Michigan as well. I love Michigan. I think it's an awesome racetrack. We've seen some really good finishes there. I think we're going to continue to see the viewership grow, the fans coming to the racetrack grow, not only at Michigan, but other tracks as well. So everybody out there at MIS, make sure you give yourself a big pat on the back, man. Awesome job. So getting into that Richmond preview, this track always puts on a good show, man. I tell you what, I think it's something that we really got to keep an eye on. Let's see how this short track package performs the second time around. Outside of Atlanta, man, this is the only track this year we've been to 2 times. We're coming up on a couple more, with Daytona and a few others in the playoffs. And to me, Atlanta is kind of a ball it up and throw it. Notebook's only 1 race big anyways. We only race once on that new configuration, and it's a super speedway style race, so a little bit different prep there. Richmond is really going to show what teams hit on the spring, how they built this short car program with the next gen car, so keep an eye out that for sure. Denny Hamlin won the spring race as if it's any surprise, came back there on some stuff and got it right there towards the end. we'll have to see who I take number 1 in mine, but don't be surprised if you hear the 11 car come out of my mouth. I think there again, Denny being a Virginia native, we know what he does at Martinsville, very capable of doing it there at Richmond as well. Gotta keep an eye out. We'll see if anybody can come out and take the Checkers from him this Sunday, man, at Richmond, second race, man. Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex are both good there. Like I said, Kevin locked himself in with that win. We'll see if Truex had this one circled on the calendar. It can kind of do a repeat of what Harvick did last week at Michigan. If Truex can come out and win the race at Richmond, that puts Ryan Blaney in a really tough spot, man. So we're going to have to see how it goes. But like I said earlier, I think that 19 teams got this one circled and go, we got to bring the egg game, man. I think Joe Gibbs Racing is going to put all the eggs into that basket to make sure they have pretty much all 4 cars into that round of 16. But we'll see what happens, man. Truex got to come put the work in. He's got to wheel man the car, and they got to give him a good piece of equipment to run there. Otherwise, it's all for none this week at Richmond, man. So keep an eye on that battle as well, y'all. So top 5 for me. I said it a minute ago. I got to take Denny Hamlin in the 11. I just think he's too good of a short track racer. I think the speed that they've shown over the last few weeks is really coming to pay dividends. I mean, to be honest, it looked like he was going to win Michigan. I think had they not had that pit penalty right there on that last restart, he definitely would have won. I mean, when you can take a car where everybody's complaining about how hard it is to pass and you start 23rd or 24th and you finish 3rd, you pass 20-plus cars in under 20 laps, the guy was flying. If he wouldn't have lost the track position, he probably would have won Michigan, and we'd still be talking about Harvick being outside looking in and that bubble, but it didn't work that way. So I think Denny's got this one circled as well. I think that 11 team's poised for another win before we get to the playoffs, and I think more than likely it happens right here at Richmond, so I'll take him number 1. Number 2 for me, I got to take Chase Elliott. Again, this isn't one of his best racetracks, but just the speed and the week in and week out consistency that they've shown. I think Allen is able to take a car throughout that race, make a car better. I think they're also able to use strategy to put themselves in a position towards the end of the race to at least have a chance at it. And they've had great speed all year, so I'll take the 9, number 2. 3 for me, I'm going to take a guy. I'm going to take Martin Truex Jr. I missed out on this last week with Harvick. I'm not going to do it this week with Truex. So I'll take Martin Truex Jr. 3. I think this is one of the better racetracks he's had throughout his career for sure. So we'll see if he can go and lock himself into that playoff with Harvick and push Blaney out. But I'll take the 19-3. 4 for me, I think this is another team that we talk about week in and week out, and that's Ross Chastain and the one at Trackhouse. Shows great speed every single week. I mean, you saw it last week there at Michigan, had really fast race cars. The pit stuff didn't work out for him there towards the end. They did rebound early, did have a pit road penalty. So it's going to be interesting to see, like I said, if Ross Chastain can maintain the pressure of running in these playoffs. I think we saw a little bit of it last week, some mishaps. We'll see if they get all that worked out and out of the system and continue those good pit stops they've done pretty much week in and week out. But last week did get sloppy there a couple times on pit road, so we'll see what they can do. But I will take the 1, 4th for me this week. And the 5, I think I'd be stupid if I left the 4 car of Kevin Harvick out. Got that momentum built up at Michigan, had a rocket, got that checkered flag, got the trophy, coming into another one of his best racetracks of his career. I got to take him at Richmond as well, y'all. So I'll take 4 or 5, or the 4 car 5th, and we'll see what he does, man. Getting into those dark horses, I'm not really going to go too dark this week, and I've got 4 of them that are kind of picked out just based off the spring finishes and the way that they tend to run at these races and what they've shown in the next-gen car. William Byron, definitely got to have him locked in. Top 3 finish there in the spring. Eric Jones in the 43 car, Tyler Reddick in the 8. All 3 of these guys, have shown contention. You got 2 guys that have won, multiple races this year inside, William Byron being earlier in the season. Tyler Reddick's finally found his niche there a little bit later on. And Eric Jones has been in contention and been hunting up front. So I got to take him. I think there's another couple guys you can really kind of look there on. But those would be my dark horses this week. Those are guys I really keep an eye on and look out for. I think that there again, out of the guys we're talking about, they've got some potential to go out and win it or at least have really good runs, man. So be on the lookout for those guys, dark horses, man. So on the money bet, look, we got a little something from last week. We did make some money. Me and Lawrence kind of get together every Sunday morning to come up with the actual list of who we're putting in. I had my 4 winners, and I had Bubba, and we took Kevin Harvick top 3, and I'm kicking myself in the ass because I didn't take Kevin Harvick to win and top 3, and I should have. That would have been a big hit again. That's the second one we kind of missed out on. The other one was Corey LaJoie finishing top 3 at Atlanta. We kind of missed out on that when he went for the whole thing, the whole cookie, instead of just taking that piece, man. But at the end of the day, hey, still won a little bit of money, still won more than what we put in. So we're doing pretty good, man. I'll take that. I'm not gonna, down that. We're still up 1,700 units on the year, which ain't bad. Not great, but ain't bad. Could be more. We're gonna get one before the season's over. We're gonna get a big hit, y'all. So looking at that, I mean, you can't really not take a lot of these guys. I mean, when you look at it, the 11, the 19, and the 9, all, and the 20, to be honest, which is another guy I almost put on that top 5 list, all have, about the same odds, roundabout. I mean, Christopher Bell is a guy I think we haven't talked enough about on short track racing. We saw him get the win at New Hampshire, one of his best in Xfinity Series, multiple wins. Richmond's not far behind. I think the kid has like 3 wins in Xfinity Series, so I'll definitely be taking a couple of those guys to win for sure, if not all 4. If you're looking a little deeper and you want some better odds, William Byron, top 3 finisher there, pretty good odds working at it. Alex Bowman, we've seen him come back, deeper in the field. Harvick has really good odds, but Bowman's that plus, 30 to 1 or plus 3,000. That'll be a big hit. So top 3, maybe you look at that if it works out right. Eric Jones is at 5, which I'm definitely probably going to be taking Eric Jones to finish top 3 if you ask me. That's just going to, pay off really good odds to put him there. And he's had good equipment. And I think they finished top 10, top 7 here in the spring. So could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I know they finished top 10. So be on the lookout for them. Keep a lookout, man. I'll let you guys know what we actually go with next week's show. But some of those guys are definitely going to be in my lineup there to get some money going for sure, man. So that'll do it for the money bet. We're getting right into that hard right turn, and who better to sponsor the hard right turn than Lamar's Body Shop right up here off Skidaway Road. Been servicing the Savannah area and auto body for 35 plus years. Really stand-up dude. Got to catch up with him a couple weeks ago up here at the Departure concert. Love every time I get to see Lamar, man. Just so down-to-earth, such a cool dude. But if you guys are looking for any kind of auto body service, paint work, body, getting your car in a wreck, getting it all fixed up, body work, hey, if you just need an estimate for those pesky insurance companies, man, make sure you go check Lamar out. They're, again, located right up here off Skidaway Road. Been servicing the Savannah area for 35 plus years. Nobody knows how to do it better than Lamar, man. I've had a personal family vehicle fix there. Lawrence had cars there. There's numerous guys here at Coaches that'll tell you about the work they do at Lamar, man. Everything comes out looking A100, brother. So, Lamar, love you, man. Thank you for sponsoring the show as well. And again, y'all, Lamar's Auto Body Shop, you'll see that number scrolling right up there as well. Make sure you go check them out right up there on Skidaway Road, very close to... Oh, it's on the bottom. Lawrence is like, he swapped it up. He put it back on the bottom for me. You'll see it scrolling on the bottom. But like I said, servicing the Savannah area, 35 plus years, right off Skidaway Road. And hey, while you take your car in for it to get estimated or some stuff done, come right here to Coaches, man. Hot, skipping, and jump. Get something to eat, have a beer, man. Wait on it. But for the hard right turn tonight, I told you guys I'm going to go in a little bit on these charter systems, and I've done it earlier in the season, but after the announcement of an estimated $20 million to open a charter in the sport, it just blows my mind, man. We went from having 43 cars that qualify and nobody's guaranteed a starting spot down to 40. And not only that, we started this charter system at a time when NASCAR was really struggling with viewership, with sponsorship, with ownership, with just everything in general. So we're trying to save the sport and guarantee a 36-car field with guys over the past 2-3 years that have, raced every race and entered every race and all these different things. Well, now, with the sport being on an incline, right, we're growing as a sport, and viewership's getting back up, and sponsorship's still a tough thing, but ownership wants to build, man. We've got, 2311, Trackhouse. Look at all these guys, these team owners and ownership that's coming in and building on what we've got. So the way I look at it is NASCAR should have at least a 38-car charter. Honestly, I think we need to go back and look at what we give to charters to help you maintain that ownership, to help you maintain that charter, to guarantee you a spot in all 36 races. I think that where we're at now and the talent level of drivers that are in and the ownership level that is willing to put the money into the sport, I think we really need to take a look at some of these guys that are starting parks or single car teams like the BJ McLeod. And I don't mean to put anybody down, and I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, but let's just be honest, right? The BJ McLeods and some of these smaller teams, they don't contend up front, and they don't bring on the best sponsorship or the best representation of what NASCAR could be. I think if we want to grow this and we want to take a plan from Formula One, and I know Formula One has a lot more manufacturer money than any other sport with some of those manufacturers they have, but if we want to take a page out of their book, take the page out of their book to make 40 cars all competitive, man, all good cars. I mean, when we're looking at it, Petty's are good. I mean, they built their program up that we've seen they can run in the top 10 with the big dogs. I mean, there's other teams, 23-11, Trackhouse has won races. So I think we're hindering some team ownership like, Dale Jr. or even like a Floyd Mayweather. I mean, look at it. Be honest. The man's got money. He wants to win in everything he does. So, and I think that $20 million for a single car team is a lot to ask. Now, with that being said, I think either we go 38 charters and add 2 more for a couple more good ownerships, or what we do is we turn around and take some of them away from the 36 we have now and have an open lottery for it, or an open auction to where ownership can bid and start it out as something. Or if you're going to charge $20 million and NASCAR opens up 2 more charters to make it 38, NASCAR can take that money and put it back into some of the racetracks they own. I mean, we just saw today, the news got released, NASCAR is building a $28.5 million R&D department on top of the one they already have in Concord, North Carolina there. So you can go back in and redo some stuff for your fans, redo an infield or redo the grandstands or add more vendors or add more, concessions inside a couple racetracks or add different things. There's a lot that we can do with this money, but I think we're hindering the sport from growing any further with great ownership with the charter system. So I really hope that after this year in 2023, NASCAR really takes a look at that charter, sees what we can do, sees what direction we can build on it, and go from there, man. Just my thoughts, though. Love to hear what you guys think. Comment on it, man. So on to the grubbing part. I got a treat. This is a specialty, man. We got some Coach's barbecue, one of the barbecue sandwiches, man. I put mine on toast. Got a little side of tater salad, man. I'm telling you right now, they run this every so often. The barbecue from up here is amazing. I got some onions, pickles to throw on it. A little barbecue sauce already on there. A little potato salad. Boy, as soon as I get off here, I'm tearing this down, y'all. I promise you that. So with that being said, man, that's going to wrap it up for the grubbing as well. Moving right on, got to give a big shout out here again to John and Adele Henderson at Coach's Corner, man. Thank them very much for everything they do for me, and let alone a lot of the patrons here in the surrounding community and charities. Everything they do is awesome, man. So I always make sure I give them a big thanks. Thank you for allowing me to come up and do what I do on the show. I love them. They're family to me, man. But at the end of the day, got to give John and Adele Henderson a big shout out, and all the patrons and staff here at Coach's Corner, man. Thank you guys so much, man. But want to give a big shout out to ESPN 104.3 Coastal there with Green White Checkered with PJ Zuko. Got some news coming up. Hopefully we get it put back together and get into it this weekend. I'm waiting on a phone call from PJ. He said he's got some news going to talk to me about. Hopefully we continue to do Green White Checkered. I love doing it, and I hope the news isn't bad. But at the end of the day, hopefully we get back on the air this Sunday. But usually you can catch it every Sunday, 9 to 9:30, ESPN 104.3. You can even stream it from their Facebook Live, ESPN Coastal Facebook page. So make sure you guys tune in. PJ Zuko and myself catching you guys up on everything new NASCAR news. I didn't catch on Wednesday, and kind of giving it a different spin, man. PJ does a great job putting that show on. So got to give a big shout out again to ESPN 104.3 Coastal and everything they do. Thank you, PJ. Love you, brother. Give me a call when you get a chance, man. But got to give a big shout out there to all the shows out here on Coach's Corner Sports Network. Make sure you guys tune in. I think they just dropped that new episode last night. Coach Carl DeMasi and Kyle Lawson, Who's on First Base, keeping you up to date on all that MLB news. Trade rumors are done, but letting you know how it's shaking off, what the playoff picture's looking like, who's hot, who's not, what could happen. Hey, man, you want to know about your baseball, Major League Baseball? Tune in every Tuesday. They drop that new episode, Who's on First Base, Coach Carl DeMasi, Kyle Lawson. Also, y'all, tune in every Saturday, 9 live right here at Coach's Corner on the Coach's Corner Sports Network. You can catch Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Report, keeping you up to date on all local high school and athletics, all local athletics, volleyball, baseball, football, basketball, swimming, golf, lacrosse. I don't know there's a sport that Coach doesn't know anything about or doesn't touch base with, man, but he's getting you all prepped up for those prep sports, man, telling you who's hot, who's not, who to be on the lookout for each team, what team can come home with it all this year. And I tell you what, that week 1 matchup, pin some family members against each other. I'm going to try to make that game, Coach. I want to talk to you. Love you, brother. Thank you as well, Coach DeMasi, man. Got to give a big shout out there to the boys on Hot Grits, man. That podcast drops every Tuesday. You can stream that anywhere you stream your other podcasts, man. But Hot Grits with Travis and Spencer, man, breaking down everything new in sports, basketball, football, baseball. They even throw some funny stuff in there, man. I watched last week's show. Absolutely love it, man. But you can stream that every Tuesday, again, anywhere you stream your podcast. Hot Grits, man, y'all know what it's all about, man. Make sure you check it out. Another big shout out to the Herb brothers out there, man. Sean and Brent doing a great job on 19th hole and what they put on every year. If you hadn't seen that from this year, check it out on YouTube. Just, put it in there, search 19th hole. Them boys crack me up. Stay tuned. We do got that big charity golf tournament coming up for Coach's Corner Sports Network show. It's going to be awesome and epic, as it always is, but can't wait for that, man. But hope everybody had a great Wednesday night out there. Hope everybody's doing what they need to be doing in school so far. Hope the parents, hope they ain't driving you crazy, a week and a half in, man. But at the end of the day, I say it all the time, make sure you hug your loved ones, man. Give them a kiss. Tomorrow's not given. Hey, y'all, be safe. Keep your head up. Tune in Sunday for that race in Richmond. Until next time. Bam! Wash your hands, y'all. Love you. All right, man.